what's going on, y'all? T-Bob here.
And Jake as well.
And you're about to watch a little OTB LSU.
We're going to give you all the latest, greatest between LSU football, baseball, women's basketball, softball, and everything in between.
Bottom line, if you want to talk Tigers, keep it locked, subscribe, like it. Speaking of the haves and have-nots, Dave Portnoy would definitely fall into the haves. Again, probably the most genius move we've ever seen. Sells his company for $500 million, gets it back for $0. I mean, heady-ass play by Dave. Good on you, mate. But he came out the other day and talked about how, look, I am committed in the NIL space to guaranteeing that we get a quarterback. I'll pay $1 to $3 million every year to give the Michigan Wolverines a quarterback. And credit to Death Valley Voice, who raised an interesting question, Jake. Obviously, so much of LSU right now is committed to Bryce Underwood, right? And this quarterback pipeline that the Tigers have now established. We just saw it Monday Night Football. Garrett Nussmeier is your reigning SEC Offensive Player of the Week. He's been awesome all year long. And Cam Underwood is kind of being painted as the heir apparent, right? Have we ever seen a number one quarterback in the country committed to LSU? Not that I can remember. Anyway,
was
maybe Russell Shepard or something.
Ryan Perrilloux, maybe.
Okay, yeah, he might have been up there as
maybe.
well. But Underwood has been very firm in his LSU commitment. He's been a lead recruiter in this LSU class. He loves Joe Sloan. But could Dave Portnoy maybe change that if he goes and throws the bag at Bryce Underwood? Potentially, I would say this though, Jake, before we get into, because that's a pure hypothetical. What do you think right now is the best use of money? Is it paying for the number one guy out of high school, or is it paying for the number one guy out of the portal?
Ooh.
Because that's the actual interesting, I think, hypothetical here.
I think position matters. What position it
talking
is.
Quarterback.
We're just talking quarterback.
Just talking quarterback.
If the portal player has more than one season, I think that is undoubtedly the answer. If the portal player has just one season, I feel different about it. Because if he has multiple, you can bring in a Jaden Daniels and you can be as successful as he was and have multiple years to try to go win something.
Yeah.
If it's just one, it's a little bit different of a conversation because then you become in the every single year we've got to go get one of these guys, and eventually you're going to get somebody that it doesn't match up, doesn't work. That player, what if they get hurt? And you're going to be searching for an answer because if you bring in the one-year guy, the guy who was in line to be the starter is probably going to go in the portal as well. So I think it matters how many years of eligibility they have left because if it's just 1 year, honestly, I would say the high school guy. If it's multiple years, and we're talking about like elite kind of players.
Now, Cam Ward's just 1 year though, right? And I feel you, and I agree, like multiple years would be
and if Cam
more ideal,
right.
like Jaden Daniels.
You'd love to have a Cam Ward. I'm just saying like the stability of it. If Cam Ward went down,
yeah, that's true.
My thought process of Miami would completely change.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, Miami is the reason why they are suddenly actually championship relevant and so legitimate this year is because of their quarterback play. And Cam Ward's gotten better as well. Like Cam Ward's also benefiting from last year at times, he felt like he'd have to put the Wazoo team on his back and it would push him to some mistakes. Now that he's got a better surrounding cast and a better rider, he seems to be playing just more efficient, better overall football. So I think the answer for me is actually pretty clear. I think it is almost always going to be I'm going to side with the portal, even though I understand that, like, look, Ia Maliava is a guy that Tennessee paid very early and groomed from the beginning, right? And he came through for them. But for every one of them, we see like a Walker Howard, or, I'm not trying to throw Walker under the bus here, but like, what I shouldn't even say Walker. Look at NFL number one draft picks. I mean, these are guys with infinite resources put into them to try to decide whether or not they'll be good. And they still go, like, look at the difference between Bryce Young and CJ Stroud. It's insane. It's really kind of mind blowing. So high school just feels like there's maybe a bit too much of a risk for me to commit all that upfront money, whereas a more firm investment feels like one in which I have more data from which to pull, which would come through the transfer portal. So I actually don't believe that Dave Portnoy will threaten Bryce Underwood. But also, even if he did, I don't really care, man. Would it suck? Sure. But, like, we have so much data now that says to not be worried or never expect your 5-star quarterback to actually finish at your school or even play at your school. It's like well under 50% actually finish at the schools that they started at. So just like accept the reality and hope for the best.
Yeah, and I think every position's going to be a little bit different. Like if I need an offensive lineman, I'm going in the portal. If I need a defensive lineman, I'm going in the portal. I would even say a corner, I'm going in the portal. Like there's some positions that I do think there's value, even if it is just 1 year. If you absolutely have to have that position, quarterback does kind of change the math a little bit. Some of the positions, that you'd like to build that depth, you still have to do it in high school. I'm talking if you just need one. Like I need a left guard.
Yeah.
I need a defensive tackle.
Yeah.
Then I think, going to the portal, obviously it's a quick fix and you can still recruit to that depth because you're going to have multiple bodies that are going to play. So you can still sell it to the freshman. Hey, you're still going to get your reps. At quarterback, we all know there's one out there. So it's a different conversation for that position. But, I'd like to have multiple years, certainly, if I'm going to have to fill that need of whatever I'm going to have. Like a 1-year rental's tough. How many schools have we seen right now that are in the 1-year rental? And it's like now, where does it, Wisconsin, where does it stop? Like at what point do you go get, somebody that you can count on? Raiola now at Nebraska, but they were 1-year rentals before they got this generational recruit that happened to have family ties. Like we can go across the country and look at places that they're now, they're in the 1-year rental space, the Auburn Tigers.
I think the ideal is getting a Jackson Dart or an Eli Holstein where it's a guy who maybe was thought of very highly, for whatever reason did not work out as his original school. And if you still think that you like scouting him, then trying to find that guy that you feel like has potential that you can develop. And it's not that's going to say that you guaranteed 100% hit, but it's kind of like you're saying, Jake, then you get the multiple years. You get some runway with which to work with them. Okay, we got to go to break.
You want to know Ryan Perley was the number 2 quarterback in his class.
I think Russell Shepard was close to number 1.
He might have been. He was the number 2. Ryan Perley was number 10 overall, number 1 in the state. The only quarterback rated ahead of him, Mark Sanchez.
Oh, Marky Sanchez. Wow, Jake, what incredible takes.
I mean, those guys, they're just the best.
I think so. And if you think so, again, hit the like button, subscribe, ring the bell so you get notifications when we post every single day here on OTB LSU.